Hi, I'm Maura Soden, and I'm here with the Kick Cancer Club and the Cancer Control Convention. And we are so excited here to have Dr. Paul Anderson, who today spoke mostly about brain cancers and what is happening out there in the world today. This is still kind of a new field, relatively, isn't it? Especially with alternative therapies.
Yes, I would say, it's certainly not new for people to have brain tumors. I think the newness is our understanding of how things fit together, really. So as mentioned in the talk, what we did 10 years ago is different than what we did 20 years ago. What we do now is different than 5 years ago, and it's just because we're understanding more. So I would say the learning curve has been extremely steep in brain tumors especially.
Which is very good, obviously, for the people who have a tumor. But what about, do you think we are exacerbating them by having cell phones connected to our ear at all times?
To the best of my knowledge, that's not helping anything. And there are some studies with animals, etc. I think, and the point I tried to make to the group was, anything that creates more inflammation, if there's any cancer activity, it's like fertilizer for it. So I think having cell signals going through your brain may not be good for you. So removing yourself in any way you can is probably good.
What can the average person do to help prevent this situation?
Yeah, and I think that you have to be real, and we all unfortunately live in the world that has a lot of toxic things, and some things you just can't get away from. Such as all of the radio frequencies and whatever else that you're around. So living in the real world, I think the important things really come down to when there are choices about something, such as your cleanliness of the water you drink or cook with, or the food that you make or buy. Anything you can control to keep it as clean as possible is great. Doing what we'd call engineering controls around things, so having either earphones so that the unit is away from you, or something so that there's less of that. You can do little things that can be helpful.
What about medical marijuana, since I know that you have used or been a proponent, have you?
It's so in the state of Washington where I practice, we've had as physicians a legal ability to use it for 8 or 10 years at this point. I don't remember when it was. So it's been a lot of experience with that. One of the things that I've found is even 2 years ago, but if you go back, whatever it was when we started, we were early in this research project, and it was legal to use. Nobody knew what to do with it medically because it was illegal before. So you had just folklore. And one of the conversations that you probably overheard in the hallway was, there's a lot of people with a lot of big ideas about, well, this is the only way to use it or that. Nobody really knows. Okay, so what we have to do is sort of go, okay, what's in that plant? How does it work? What are the constituents that probably are helpful? And then what makes sense? So one of the things is, just like we talk about living in the real world, if you have somebody working and they're doing medical cannabis, if they have a lot of THC during the day and they can't work, or they wreck their car, that's not a good idea, right? So what we try to do with patients is that if we're doing CBD and THC, the CBD for most people doesn't have a lot of brain, at least doesn't make them feel high or something. So we tend to dose the CBDs during the day, and then we do the THCs more in the evening. I would say, initially we were using it because of the way the law was worded, more for side effects. So somebody wanted to get off their pain medicine or their sleep medicine and they had cancer, that was a legal reason to use it. So we learned early on that we actually get a lot of people either down on their pain meds or off pain meds, and almost everybody off their sleep meds with it. And then we started seeing more response just immune-wise. And I think the best that we know now is, if it's possible to have as many constituents of the plant as possible, so CBDs and THCs, that appears to be the better effect on the immune system. Now, if you're in a state where it's not legal, but you could say get hemp CBD or something, which still is legal in most states, that's better than nothing too. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to hearing lots more. As you say, every year there are new advances. So,
Yeah.
and thank you, and having a good doctor
Thank
in your
you.
pocket.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful to be here.